Have you ever felt like the rules of the game are rigged against you? That no matter how fairly you play, fate seems to deal you a losing hand, time and time again. It's a deeply human frustration, this sense of battling an unseen force that delights in your struggle, that seems to play dirty just when you're on the verge of something good. This feeling isn't new, and you are not alone in it. This sense of cosmic injustice, of life's inherent unfairness, can be overwhelming. It can lead to bitterness, resignation, or a desperate search for answers. What if there was a way to not just endure these moments, but to navigate them with a sharper understanding, perhaps even to find a way to win when the odds are stacked and the game seems fixed? We often seek solace in comforting philosophies, but what if the most practical wisdom comes from someone who looked unflinchingly at the harsh realities of the world? A thinker who understood that life doesn't always play fair, and that sometimes a different kind of wisdom is required to not just survive, but to assert our own agency. Enter Niccolo Machiavelli, a name often misunderstood, associated with cunning and ruthlessness. But beyond the caricature lies a profound observer of human nature and the capricious turns of fortune. He lived in a time of great upheaval, where destinies were made and broken overnight, a perfect crucible for studying how one might contend with a fate that often plays dirty. Machiavelli wasn't interested in how the world should be, but in how it is. This unflinching realism is the first step towards regaining your footing when circumstances feel treacherous. To win, or even just to hold your ground, you must first see the game clearly, without illusion or wishful thinking. He recognized a powerful force he called fortune, not a benevolent guide, but a wild, unpredictable river or a capricious goddess, responsible for half of our outcomes. This isn't to say we are helpless, but to acknowledge the sheer, unplannable power that external events can wield over our lives. Acknowledging this power is not weakness, it's strategic awareness. Imagine fortune as a tempestuous deity, sometimes showering blessings, other times unleashing storms with little rhyme or reason. When fate plays dirty, it's this aspect of fortune, its seeming randomness and indifference to our efforts, that we are truly contending with. It feels personal, but often it's simply the nature of the storm. The first victory, then, is to depersonalize the blow. When life throws a truly unfair challenge your way, resist the urge to ask, "Why me?" as if a cosmic bully has singled you out. Instead, ask, "What is this situation and what does it demand of me?" This shifts your stance from victim to observer. Machiavelli argued that while fortune controls half our actions, the other half, or nearly so, is left for us to govern. This is where our power lies. This is the space where we can learn to win, not by controlling fortune, which is impossible, but by mastering our response to fortune. This empowering counterforce to fortune, Machiavelli called virtù. Not virtue in the moral sense of goodness, but something closer to skill, prowess, strength of character, and the ability to act decisively and effectively. It is your inner resourcefulness, your capacity to adapt and overcome. So when fate plays dirty, it's an invitation to cultivate your virtù. It's a call to sharpen your wits, to bolster your resolve, and to understand that passive hope is not a strategy. The game might be unfair, but you are not an unarmed player. You have inherent capabilities waiting to be honed. One of the core tenets of this approach is prudence, the ability to foresee potential problems and prepare for them. Machiavelli likened it to building dams and dikes when the weather is calm, to protect against the inevitable fury of the river when it floods. How can you build your dikes today? This means looking ahead, not with anxiety, but with strategic awareness. What are the potential dirty tricks fate might play in your current situation? What are the weak points? By anticipating challenges, you are less likely to be caught off guard, more able to respond effectively rather than react emotionally. Consider the story of a skilled sailor. They cannot control the wind or the waves, that's fortune. But they can adjust the sails, steer the rudder, and navigate by the stars, that's virtù. When the storm hits, the unprepared sailor is lost, The skilled sailor has a chance to ride it out, perhaps even use the wind to their advantage. Another key is adaptability. Machiavelli famously said it is better to be impetuous than cautious at times, because fortune is a woman, and it is necessary, if you want to master her, to beat and strike her. This is strong language, metaphorically suggesting bold, decisive action in the face of her capriciousness. This impetuosity isn't recklessness. It's about recognizing when the moment demands swift, bold action rather than hesitant deliberation. Sometimes, fate's dirty tricks are designed to make you freeze. Breaking that paralysis with a decisive move can shift the entire dynamic. He also advised that a leader should know how to be both a lion and a fox. The lion to frighten wolves, open threats, the fox to recognize traps, deception, and cunning. You cannot be only one. The lion is easily trapped. The fox is easily overcome by force. In your life, when does a situation call for the lion's courage and directness? When do you need to stand your ground, roar, and show your strength? This is for confronting overt challenges, injustices that need to be met head-on with undeniable force of will. And when does it call for the fox's cunning and subtlety? When are the dirty tricks hidden, requiring you to see beneath the surface, to navigate complex social dynamics, or to avoid a direct confrontation that you cannot win? This is about strategy, not brute force. The wisdom here is in discerning which approach is needed. Rushing in like a lion when fox-like cunning is required will lead to disaster, and timidly probing like a fox when a roar of defiance is necessary means being overwhelmed. This discernment is a part of virtue. Machiavelli also stressed the importance of understanding human nature. People are often driven by self-interest, fear, and ambition. This isn't a cynical view, but a realistic one. When fate plays dirty, it often does so through the actions of others. Understanding these underlying motivations can help you anticipate how others might react or act, especially under pressure or when opportunities for dirty tricks arise. It allows you to navigate interpersonal challenges with greater insight, protecting yourself and your interests more effectively. This realism extends to oneself. What are your own vulnerabilities? Where are you prone to wishful thinking or emotional reactions that fate's dirty tricks might exploit? Honest self-assessment is a powerful shield. Knowing your weaknesses is the first step to fortifying them. Machiavelli noted that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. This is a caution. Be aware of appearances. When fate seems to be playing dirty, question the surface story. Dig deeper. This doesn't mean becoming cynical or distrustful of everyone. It means cultivating discernment. It means not taking everything at face value, especially when the stakes are high or the situation feels off. Trust your intuition, but verify with observation and critical thinking. One of fate's dirtiest tricks is to make you feel isolated in your struggle. But Machiavelli understood the power of alliances, even if temporary or based on mutual interest. Who are your allies? Who can you rely on, even in a limited capacity, when facing adversity? Building strong relationships based on genuine respect and mutual benefit can be a powerful bulwark against misfortune. These are the people who can offer a different perspective, lend support, or even help you turn a bad situation around. Don't underestimate the strength found in connection. Another powerful concept is that of seizing opportunity when it arises, even from misfortune. Sometimes, a setback can clear the way for a new path, or a crisis can reveal unexpected strengths or allies. When fate knocks you down, look around. Is there a hidden door fortune just inadvertently revealed? This requires a flexible mindset, one that isn't so fixated on the original plan that it misses new possibilities. When one door slams shut with a dirty trick, don't waste all your energy banging on it. Look for the window fortune might have cracked open elsewhere. Machiavelli also observed that it's better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. For a personal journey, this isn't about inspiring fear, but about commanding respect. When you act with virtue, with preparedness, adaptability, and clear boundaries, you earn a different kind of regard. People are less likely to try dirty tricks on someone they respect. This respect comes from consistency, from showing that you understand the game and that you are not easily fooled or pushed around. It's not about aggression, but about a calm, unwavering assertion of your agency and your boundaries. This itself can be a deterrent to fate's lesser, dirty tricks that come via others. Consider the power of patience, not as passive waiting but as strategic timing. Sometimes, the best response to a dirty trick is to not react immediately, but to observe, gather information, and wait for the opportune moment to act. Hasty reactions can play right into fate's hands. Machiavelli understood that times change, and methods must change with them. He who adapts his mode of proceeding to the qualities of the times prospers. If fate is playing a new kind of dirty trick, your old strategies might not work. Be willing to learn, evolve, and try new approaches. This flexibility is a hallmark of virtue. It's the capacity to be firm when needed and yielding when that serves you better. Like a reed that bends in the storm and survives, while the rigid oak might break. Know when to bend and when to stand unshakable. When you feel cornered by fate, ask, what assumptions am I making that are limiting my options? Perhaps the rules you think you're bound by are self-imposed. Machiavelli was a master at questioning conventional assumptions to find new avenues of action. Courage is essential, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Machiavelli's world was dangerous. Taking action often involved great risk. When fate plays dirty, it can be terrifying. Your virtue involves finding that courage to make the necessary move. This courage is often found not in grand, heroic gestures, but in the persistent, small acts of resistance against despair. The decision to get up one more time, to try one more strategy, to hold onto your agency when everything seems to be trying to strip it away. That is true courage. Machiavelli also noted that men are quicker to offend those who they love than those who they fear. Again, not to advocate inspiring fear, but to understand that sometimes being too accommodating or nice in the face of unfairness can invite further exploitation. Clear boundaries are a form of self-respect. So when fate plays dirty, part of winning is maintaining your composure. Emotional reactivity often clouds judgment and leads to poor decisions. Machiavelli valued a cool head, the ability to assess a situation dispassionately, even when under immense pressure. This composure allows you to see the dirty trick for what it is, a move in the game, rather than an overwhelming catastrophe. It creates the mental space needed to choose your response, to employ your virtue, rather than being swept away by fortune's tide. Remember that Machiavelli emphasized that the ends justify the means is a misquotation and oversimplification of his complex thought. However, he did argue that when the safety of one's country, or by analogy, one's core well-being, is at stake, there should be no consideration of just or unjust, merciful or cruel. The focus is on preservation. For your personal life, this translates to: when faced with a situation that truly threatens your fundamental stability or safety, your priority is to navigate it effectively to ensure your well-being. This might require making difficult choices or adopting strategies you wouldn't normally prefer, always within your ethical framework. It's about recognizing that sometimes half measures are insufficient. When fate plays a truly dirty hand, a timid response can be worse than no response at all. Decisive action, well considered but firm, is often required to regain control or mitigate damage. Machiavelli believed that it is crucial to understand the spirit of the times. What works in one era or one situation may not work in another. Are you applying outdated tactics to new challenges? Being attuned to the present reality is key to effective action. So how do we begin to apply this today in our own lives when fate seems to throw a curveball? Start by observing. When something feels unfair, step back from the immediate emotion. Analyze the situation as if you were an outside strategist. What are the facts? What are the forces at play? Identify where fortune, the uncontrollable elements, ends and where your virtue, your agency and skill can begin. What aspects can you influence, no matter how small? Focus your energy there. Don't waste it raging against the unchangeable. Practice foresight. Think about your current goals or situations. What are 2 or 3 dirty tricks fate could play? Not to dwell on negativity, but to brainstorm potential responses. What resources would you need? What skills would be useful? This is building your dikes. Cultivate adaptability. When a setback occurs, actively resist the urge to rigidly stick to your original plan if it's clearly no longer viable. Ask, what new opportunities might this setback create? What different approach could I try? Be the fox, be the lion, be the water that flows around obstacles. Strengthen your resolve. Virtue is also about inner fortitude. When you feel beaten down, remind yourself of past challenges you've overcome. Remember your strengths. This isn't about ego, it's about fueling your capacity to act effectively when things are tough. Be prepared to act decisively when the moment is right. Hesitation born of fear can be a greater enemy than fate itself. Trust your preparation and your judgment, and when an opportunity to shift the balance appears, or a necessary defensive move is clear, act. Understand that winning, when fate plays dirty, doesn't always mean a spectacular public victory. Sometimes it means preserving your integrity, maintaining your peace of mind, or simply navigating through the trial without losing yourself. Redefine winning on your own terms. Machiavelli teaches that we should not be so naive as to expect the world to always be fair or people to always be good. This realism is not pessimism. It's a foundation for resilience. Expecting challenges prepares you to meet them with greater strength and less surprise. Reflect on the dirty tricks you faced. Were they random acts of fortune, or did they involve human agency? If human, what motivations might have been at play? Understanding the patterns can help you anticipate and navigate future situations more effectively. Practice emotional detachment when analyzing a problem. Imagine you are advising a friend in the same situation. What counsel would you give them? This distance can provide clarity and allow for more rational, strategic thinking, free from immediate panic or anger. Build your virtue daily. This means continuous learning, honing your skills, strengthening your character, and cultivating mental toughness. It's not a one-time fix, but an ongoing commitment to being as prepared and capable as you can be for whatever life throws your way. Remember, Machiavelli's insights are not about becoming ruthless or amoral. They are about understanding the full spectrum of reality, including its harsher aspects, so that you can protect what matters to you and navigate towards your goals with intelligence and agency, even when the path is unfair. When you feel that fate is playing dirty, it is a test of your resourcefulness. It's an opportunity to discover strengths you didn't know you had, and to consciously choose your response rather than being a passive recipient of misfortune. This choice is power. Don't let setbacks define you. Machiavelli himself faced immense political misfortune, imprisonment, and exile. Yet, it was during this period he wrote his most enduring works. Sometimes, adversity is the very crucible in which our greatest strengths and insights are forged. The world is full of unforeseen events. Your ability to adapt, to learn from both success and failure, and to maintain your forward momentum despite obstacles, is a critical component of this Machiavellian-inspired approach to life's challenges. Cultivate a mindset that sees challenges not just as threats, but as complex problems to be solved. This shifts your energy from fear or anger to curiosity and strategic thinking. How can I navigate this? What tools do I have? What can I learn? Remember the balance of the lion and the fox. There are times for bold assertion and times for quiet cunning. Wisdom lies in knowing which to employ and in having both capacities within your repertoire. This duality is a strength. When fate seems to conspire against you, take a moment to ground yourself. Breathe. Reconnect with your core values and your ultimate goals. This internal anchor can keep you steady when the external world is chaotic and seemingly unfair. The lesson from Machiavelli is not to become like those who play dirty, but to become so astute, so prepared, and so resilient that their dirty tricks lose much of their power over you. You see them coming, you adapt, and you persevere. Ultimately, winning, when fate plays dirty, is about preserving your agency. It's about refusing to be a mere pawn in a game you didn't choose. It's about writing your own responses, even if you can't always write the script of events. This requires a long-term perspective. A single lost battle does not mean the war is lost. Fortune is fickle. What seems like a devastating blow today might, with virtue and time, become a footnote in a larger story of your resilience and eventual triumph. The practical application is this: when blindsided, pause, assess realistically, identify your points of leverage, adapt your strategy, act with courage and timing, and learn from the experience no matter the outcome. This is the cycle of growing your virtue. By embracing this mindset, you are not denying the unfairness or the pain. You are, however, refusing to let it be the final word. You are claiming your power to respond, to strive, and to shape your destiny to the extent that it is humanly possible. So the next time fate seems to play dirty, remember Machiavelli, not as a purveyor of darkness but as a guide through it. A realist who believed in human capacity to rise to the challenge, armed with insight, courage, and adaptability. The ultimate win is not just about external success, but about the internal strength and wisdom you cultivate. It's about becoming the kind of person who can face down fortune's worst, not with naive optimism, but with clear-eyed, capable resolve. Fate will always have its tricks, but armed with the principles of strategic awareness, adaptability, and proactive courage, you are no longer a helpless target. You are an active participant, ready to navigate the game, however it's played, and to strive always for your own form of victory. Embrace the reality that life includes unpredictable challenges. This acceptance is not defeat, it is the starting point for effective strategy. When you anticipate the possibility of dirty tricks, you are already halfway to neutralizing their impact by being mentally prepared. In your daily life, practice identifying the fortune and virtue elements in small challenges. What is truly outside your control? What actions, however minor, can you take to improve the situation or your response to it? This builds the muscle of agency. Consider one area where you feel fate has been unfair. How might the perspectives of the lion direct action or the fox cunning strategy offer new ways to approach it? Could a blend of both be even more effective? Let this be a creative exercise in strategic thinking. The true victory Machiavelli points towards is not just overcoming a single instance of bad fortune, but developing a resilient, adaptable character that can consistently navigate the complexities of life. It's about becoming a skilled navigator on the often stormy seas of existence. So when fate plays dirty, do not despair. See it as a call to awaken your inner strategist, your virtue. The game may be unpredictable, but your capacity for wisdom, courage, and adaptive action is a formidable power. You are far more equipped than you might believe.